Hey guys, I'm Junior Sheikh. Welcome to my channel JD's Code Lab. Guys, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. To get early access to my videos and source code, join me on Patreon now. Link is in the description. In this video, we will design Rockstar Game Launcher UI. We will try to make our design look exactly as the Rockstar UI itself, which is much smoother in animation, etc. So let's take a glance of how our design looks like at the end. Kindly watch the entire video to understand each step better. I would like to thank and welcome Mr. Xavier, Mr. Jonas and Mr. Srinivas for becoming my patron. Now let's get started with designing. We will add new window in our solution to use as a splash screen. Let's set our properties. Since we don't want resizable window, we will set resize mode to no resize. We also don't require window border, so we will set window style to none. And yes, we want our window to show in the center of our screen. So window startup location will be center screen. Let's put height as 400 and width as 500. Also background brush will be black. Next thing we got to do is add the mouse down event because we want to make our splash screen movable when the left mouse button is pressed or dragged. So using if condition here, we will check if the user has pressed the left mouse button or not. And if that is true, then we will call drag move function. If you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. Now let's run and check our program. As you can see, the main window is opened by default instead of splash screen. So what we have to do is change the startup URI in app.xml to splash screen.xml. So that first window it should show is splash screen. Okay, moving forward, let's add the Rockstar animating logo using the image control within the center of our window with following properties. Our image path in source and stretch property as uniform, horizontal and vertical alignment to center, and height as 97. Next we will add a text block with similar properties, horizontal and vertical alignment to center, and top margin as 125 pixels. Foreground brush we will take as white and font weight bold, text saying connecting to Rockstar Game Services and font size to 16. Now let's run and see if everything is working as desired. If you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. As you can see, our Rockstar logo GIF isn't working. This is because we used image control for GIF. Instead of image control, we will use media element to play our GIF. So let's replace our image control with media element and set the load behavior for GIF as play and visibility visible. And most important thing I forgot before is to set the build action for my GIF to content and copy output directory as copy always. After that we will add the unload behavior as manual. Okay, now let's run the program and watch. Perfect. Now this is how we wanted our splash screen to look. Let's add the close button on top right of our window. So horizontal alignment right and vertical alignment to top and margin from all sides as 3 pixels. Okay, now let's do the buttons styling. We will use this style for our Windows button. It is minimize, restore and close window buttons for all our forms. To get early access to my videos and source code, join me on Patreon now. Link is in the description. We will set the basic properties before moving forward to button template. And hey guys, if you are new to my channel or haven't subscribed yet, so please do it now. You will find the subscribe button at the bottom right of my video. Okay, moving forward, now comes our template part. As usual, we will start by setting the target type for our control template, which here is type button. Let's add a border to which we will call BD and bind the background and thickness properties of button to the border. Now guys, a quick question for the beginners. Why are we using template binding and not just binding here? Do let me know in the comment box below. Now we will add the path element here and let's call it ICO. And we will bind its data property to our button's content property. Then let's add fill as white and height and width as 10 pixels and stretch property as uniform. So our window button style is nearly ready and all that remains is the trigger. So let's define the trigger for our control. We will set a trigger on is mouse over property and set the background color to desired value. Now let's apply this style to our close button. As we are done with styling, Next thing we have to do is feed our button content property the path data to show the close icon. For that, we need to define the resource dictionary in which I have already stored all the icons that we are going to use in this application. This is going to become more interesting, so watch the video till end. So as we have defined the resource dictionary, now let's move forward and provide our button content with the required value. Now let's save and run our project. Guys, if you remember, the mouse over background color for close button is reddish in the original Rockstar game launcher. So, we will add a multi-trigger which will be triggered only when two conditions are met. First condition, the mouse should be over the close button, and second condition, the button should be the close button. So to know that the button is a close button or not, we will use tag property of button. Guys, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. Okay, now finally as we are done with our styling, let's go ahead and add the button click event to close the window. Our splash screen is completed now. We need to show the main window, which will be the Rockstar game home screen. Since I am not connecting to the server practically, I will open the main window when the Rockstar logo GIF ends. So for that we will use the media ended event and call our main window like this. After that we will hide our splash screen. Now let's run the program. As soon as the GIF ends, our main window will load and splash screen will close. Perfect. One thing left to add is tag property to our close button. So let's do it now. Let's move forward to our next design, which is the loading screen on main window. Now starting with our main window properties, let's set the height to 600 and width 1 to 75 and font as Arial. We will name this window as home, and since we don't want window border, we will set the style to none and resize mode to no resize. Background brush value as 131518 and window startup location in the center screen. Let's put title as Rockstar Game Launcher and mouse down event to move the window. Guys, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. So the first thing that will be visible after home window is loaded is the Rockstar logo. So let's just copy and paste the same media element from splash screen. Since the background of logo should not be black, we also have another logo GIF to match with window background. We just require to change the height, so we'll set it as 170 pixels and just create the new event handler for media element and leave it for now. Now let's add window buttons inside stack panel with orientation as horizontal and flow direction from right to left. We will add 3 buttons with style property as Windows button style that we created earlier and set content and click event for each of them. In second button we will set 10 pixels margin on both sides, and further we will set style trigger since the button icon has to change whenever the window is restored or maximized. So let's first set the restore icon as the default content value and then add the trigger as I said before. We will place a stack panel on top right of our window. Now let's run and check out our program. Now as you can see, the restore button icon is not showing. To fix that, we will place our style inside the button.style tag and we will remove the window button style above. Instead we will use the based on property to inherit the window button style. By mistakenly I have set the wrong icon for a normal window, so let me just swap the icon values. Okay, now just add some margin to our stack panel so that it doesn't stick completely on top right. To let our close button show the correct color on mouse over, we will set its tag property to each closed button. Moving forward, let's add events to the buttons. Call close function when the close button is clicked, and when the restore button is clicked, check the window state. If window is in normal state, then maximize it, else restore it to normal. Same goes for minimize button. Minimize window when button is clicked. Guys, if you are new to my channel, hit the like and subscribe button. Okay, so window buttons are done now. If you remember, we did set the build action for the GIF to content and copy to output directory as copy always to make it run. So do the same thing here. To get early access to my videos and source code, join me on Patreon now. Link is in the description. Okay, it's working perfectly. Now let's move ahead and add two columns in our grid. We will use the first column for menu and right column for the play button and cards. Stack panel is using default column 0, so we will set the column to 1, and Rockstar logo will use both columns to set the column span to 2. Now let's move forward and design the menu in the left column. Guys, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. We will first add a grid with background brush black and we will call it menu grid. And this grid will have 3 rows. First row with height 100 and will contain the Rockstar logo icon. Second row will contain the title and menu buttons and will occupy all the space available. And the last row with height as auto will only use the required space by its child element and will contain the toggle button for expanding and collapsing the grid. Now let's add the image with following properties: horizontal alignment to left, height as 39, width as 41, and margin 34 pixels from left and right and 44 from top. Vertical alignment to top and source property. Next thing we got to do is add a stack panel with margin 32 pixels from top and place it in grid row 1. In this stack panel we will add 3 radio buttons with content containing the name of 3 games and 2 text blocks presenting the title of these games. The second one on second last position reading library and the first one will be on top of the panel reading now available, both with margin 39 pixels from left and 18 from top. Now let's add the style for the radio button inside the stack panel.resources with following properties: foreground color as grey, cursor as hand, group name will be menu buttons, and margin 20 pixels from top. For designing the template we will use control template as always and add border with background and border thickness with respect to template binding and a grid inside this border with 2 columns. The first column having the indicator and game icon while the other one with game name. Okay, so let's start with the indicator by placing the rectangle with name as indicator on left alignment having width of 3 pixels. Then moving forward, add the game icon which is the image also in left alignment. And height 31 pixels, margin 38 pixels from top, vertical alignment as top, width 31 pixels as well, and grid column 1. And for source of icon we will use template binding to tag property of the radio button. Now let's add a text block to which let's call game name, which will be horizontally aligned left, margin 18 pixels from left, and we will place it in column 1. It will be binded to template content and text trimming will be set to word ellipsis and foreground weight and font size will be template binded as well. So updating a radio button style, font weight and size properties with respective values. Let's move forward to the next step in which we will add the control template triggers. So whenever the radio button is checked, the indicator should be filled with yellow color and the foreground of our game name text block should become white. Guys, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. So let's run and check our program. We will need to set the transparent background for our radio button. To get early access to my videos and source code, join me on Patreon now. Link is in the description. Okay, now it's looking fine. Next thing we have to do is add the color animation to the game name, such as whenever mouse enters the radio button, the text should turn white, and when the mouse leaves the radio button, the text should turn back to its original color. All this should happen smoothly, not suddenly. So let's take a trigger with property isMouseOver, and if it's true then enter action and begin storyboard with the speed ratio of 5. Then we will add our color animation here with target property set to the radio button's foreground property. And the color will change from grey to white. Same will happen when the exit action is triggered. So copy and paste the above storyboard and swap the from and to values. Voila! Now observe the change. Guys, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. Next we will set the width for menu grid temporarily. After that, let's style our text blocks. So first set the target type text block, then add the following properties: visibility to visible, horizontal alignment left, vertical alignment center, foreground white, font weight bold, and font size 14. Also, we have to add the game icon in tag property of the radio buttons. As you can see, the game icon is not showing in the radio button. So first let's set the third radio button as default checked button. Then change the image source from template binding to ancestor binding. It is binding tag comma relative source is equal to open bracket relative source ancestor type radio button, close brackets. That's it, perfect. Now let's move on and add the icon for other radio buttons. Guys, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe. Okay, now let's move forward to the toggle button for collapsing and uncollapsing menu grid. Adding following properties to our toggle button: background as transparent, grid row 2, thickness 2, horizontal alignment left, height as 26 and width as 30, and margin will be 39 from top and 32 from bottom. Now let's add a dependency property of type bool and property name as isMenuExpanded. Then set the two-way binding for isMenuExpanded to this checked property of the toggle button. This will change the isMenuExpanded to true or false. Value will be same as this checked property. And set the cursor as hand. Next, we will design the template for the toggle button and add the control template of type toggle button with element border inside, having background, border thickness and border brush properties. Now add a stack panel with horizontal orientation and a name container and a path inside it with name icon path. And properties stretch as uniform, fill gray, width 15 and height 10, and default data as right arrow. After path, we will add a rectangle which will act as a vertical line. Let's call it a separator, and it will be aligned left horizontally with width 2 and fill gray. Our goal here is to flip the stack panel when the grid menu is collapsed, so that the path comes on left and separator on right. So when the toggle button is checked, the flow direction of the stack panel will be set as right to left. If you are new to my channel or haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing my channel and also join me on Patreon. Before moving forward, let's quickly fix the vertical text position of our menu radio button. Now since we want to add same highlighting effect to our toggle button, like radio button text, let's just copy the same mouse over trigger and paste it in our toggle button's control template.triggers. All we need to do now is replace radio button with toggle button and foreground with border brush. And also we will template bind both path and rectangle's fill property to border brush so that we don't have to set triggers for them separately. And finally, let's add the border brush for the toggle button as gray, which will be applied to all the template binded child elements. Now let's run the application and see how it's looking. Okay, so far the animation and all is working fine. Now in the original Rockstar game launcher, if you noticed, when the menu is collapsed, all the text in the grid hides and the three dots appear in place of the library text block. So to hide the text block when menu is collapsed, we will add data trigger, and if the isMenuExpanded is false, then set the visibility of text blocks to collapsed. Same goes for game name in menu buttons. Now before running our program, we need to add the default value for our isMenuExpanded dependency property. Now as you can see, the texts are hidden perfectly when toggle button is checked. Next thing we have to do is replace the library text with the three dots on menu collapsed. So we will add a path with data value as library icon, stroke and fill values, margin 45 pixels from left, 18 pixels from top, width as 16, horizontal alignment left and stretch uniform. Now let's style this path. First, we will set the default visibility of this three dots icon as collapsed, since our menu will be expanded by default on app starter. Then we will add the same data trigger we added before for title text, but here we will set the visibility to visible. Moving forward to the final step of our left menu grid, we will set the style for the grid, in which we will set the default width as 275 pixels. And when is menu expanded is false, the width will change to 109 pixels. The grid is not collapsing because we didn't remove the specified width in grid tag. Okay, now moving forward, let's add the expand and collapse animation to our grid. Now delete the width property we had set inside data trigger and copy paste the color animation trigger.actions from radio button triggers. Then replace trigger with data trigger, and since the width value is of type double, replace color animation to double animation. And change the value of target property to width and remove from property, and change value of to property to 109 pixels. Now repeat the same steps for exit animation part and set the acceleration and deceleration ratio to 0.5 in both actions. Okay, let's run the program and see our menu grid in action. Perfect. Now we can move forward to design the right column. So finally, let's proceed to right column section and first add a grid with 2 rows. First row height will be 135 pixels and will contain tab buttons, while second row will occupy all available space and will contain picture, play button and news cards. In the first row, we will add uniform grid with 4 columns and horizontal alignment right, vertical alignment center, and we will add 3 radio buttons inside it. The first one's content will be games and will be checked by default. The second one will be store, and the third one will be settings tab button. Guys, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. Next, we will add an ellipse containing profile picture with following properties: stroke thickness 2, stroke white, height and width is 40 pixels, horizontal alignment will be right and vertical alignment center, and margin 33 pixels from bottom. Inside ellipse.fill property tag, we will add an image brush with image source and stretch property to uniform to fill. Let's bring the uniform grid into view first. Okay, now we will style our radio buttons inside the uniform grid.resources. So create new style of target type radio button with following properties: background is transparent, foreground light gray, font size 17, margin 11 pixels from both sides, and cursor as hand. Let me change the view of our workspace first. Now set horizontal content alignment and vertical content alignment to center. Now the radio buttons will also have some shadow behind them. So let's create a shadow effect using drop shadow effect with key shadow and shadow depth 0, direction 0, color gray, opacity 1 and blur radius 4 has to be set. Then assign this shadow to radio button effect value. Next we will design the template. So add a control template of type radio button and border with template binded background. Then add text block with name tab and bind radio button's content property to its text property, and also bind the horizontal content alignment of radio button to its text alignment. After that, add control template.triggers and define a trigger for each checked property. So set the font weight to bold and foreground to white inside this trigger. Now search the color animation trigger and copy whole trigger and paste inside this control template. Then replace radio button to toggle button and decrease speed ratio to 3. After that, remove the from property from both color animations and set the to property value as light gray. Now let's collapse the region and add new grid in row 1 and set the vertical alignment to top. We will require 2 columns, column 1 with height 369 pixels and will contain the game image and play button, while the second one will contain the news cards. Moving further, we will add an stack panel with margin 27 pixels from all the sides, containing image control of width to 48 pixels, which will be stretched uniformly and horizontally aligned in center. Below that, we will add a button with content play on Steam, having font size 20 pixels and extra bold. Guys, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. Now let's style our button inside the stack panel.resources with properties border thickness 0, cursor as hand, height 66, width 256, margin minus 27 pixels from top, and in effect we will add shadow. So we'll add shadow in app.xml since I am gonna use it in other control as well. So drop shadow with key, shadow depth 6.5, color as black, opacity 40%, blur radius 1 and direction 310 degrees. Next we need to bring the image in front of the button. So we'll set the panel.zindex equals to 1. Now coming back to our play button, let's add a template property and set the value and control template target type as button. Then add a border with corner radius 6 and name BD. To give the gradient effect to the button, we will use linear gradient brush inside border.background and set the start point as 0,0 and end point as 0,1. Now let's add 3 gradient stops with name, color and offset value. The purpose of giving name to these gradient stops is that we want to change the color value using control template.triggers. To get early access to my videos and source code, join me on Patreon now. Link is in the description. Guys, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe. Moving forward now, let's add a border with corner radius 6, thickness 1, border brush black and margin 5. And a text block inside it with text, horizontal alignment and vertical alignment template binded to button. Now let's move to control template.triggers and copy paste the color animation trigger we used before and set the storyboard.target name as gradient stop 1. Then change target property to just color and to property to FCA F17. Now repeat the color animation for other 2 gradient stops and change the name and to property value. After finishing with enter action, copy and paste the 3 color animations in the exit actions and replace 2 properties value. Okay, now let's run and test the button. The color animation is working fine, but when you try to click or hover the upper part of button behind the image, the animation and click doesn't work even on the transparent part of the image. So to fix this, we will navigate to the image source code and set is hit test visible to false, and voila, you got it working. Now let's move ahead and design the custom news card control. So just to keep things simple, let's add a new folder. Then right click it and go to add and click on user control. Then name it game news card. When the user control is loaded, remove the default grid items and place button control instead. Then add a user control.resources. Change the design height to 285 pixels and design width to 246 pixels. Let's change the view of the workspace so that we can keep track of the changes. Now add new style with target type button and add properties. Background value black, horizontal alignment center, height 285 pixels and width 246 pixels. Cursor will be hand and we will apply a drop shadow effect as well. Next, let's proceed with template. Add control template with target type button and add border with background. Then add a grid with 2 rows. First row will be for image and second one will have caption or heading. Now let's add an image element with following properties. And we will create and bind a dependency property named image source to the source property. Guys, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe. Now let's add a text block in grid row 1 with following properties. Name caption, text wrapping to wrap, and bind caption dependency property to text property. Now we will create a dependency property with name caption of type string. Bind the horizontal alignment of the text block to the horizontal content alignment property of the button. And vertical alignment to vertical content alignment property of button. Then we also need to change the foreground value of button to white and set horizontal and vertical content alignment to center and font size to 11 points. Now copy the color animation trigger from main window and paste inside the control template.triggers of user control button. After that, set the storyboard.target name as caption in both the color animation tags. Then change the target property from radio button to button and remove from property and set to value as FCAF17 and in below color animation change value to white. Remove the width property of text block. Now let's get back to main window and add a scroll viewer in grid column 1 with name card container SV and horizontal scroll bar hidden and vertical scroll bar disabled. Next, let's add a stack panel having horizontal orientation and transparent background, horizontal scroll bar hidden and vertical disabled, and set the can content scroll to true. So let's add the custom news card in the stack panel with the caption and image source values. Okay, I tried building the project and it's showing some error in our image source dependency property, which I think is due to name conflict. So let's rename it to source and replace the name in current document and also remove the default metadata value. Now let's run and see if the problem is fixed. So the image was shown, but the error we face now means that we might have provided wrong element type in storyboard. Let's check and fix it. So yes, instead of text block I wrote button, which caused the error. Let's change that and it should work now. If you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. Perfect. Our caption needs to be in center, so setting text alignment to center. So everything seems fine. Now let's go ahead and add more cards with some margin in between them. Now next thing we have to do is add the left and right navigation button like that in Rockstar Game Launcher. Now let's move forward and add the left navigation button in grid column 2. Name it left nav button and add a click event and set vertical alignment in center and horizontal alignment as left. We will repeat the same steps for right navigation button. Now we will set the style for the navigation buttons inside the grid.resources tag. Let's set the properties. Background is transparent and border thickness is 0 and style name navigation button style. Let's first assign the style to our buttons. To get early access to my videos and source code, join me on Patreon now. Link is in the description. So we also need to add the cursor property as hand. Then we will proceed further with template design. Now let's set the control template target type as button and add a grid element containing border of name BD. And background of border as dark grey with 60% opacity. Then we will add a path for our arrow icon. So name will be icon and data value binded to left arrow by default. Path will be uniformly stretched with height 15 and white fill. Let me just correct the horizontal alignment of left navigation button. Inside control template.trigger, we will set the trigger on is mouse over property, such that whenever mouse is over any one of the buttons, then the opacity will increase to 100%. After that, copy and paste the trigger and change property to horizontal alignment and value right. Next, in the setter target name, set value as icon and property data and value as right arrow. Now let's run the program. If you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. Okay, so our buttons are showing perfectly and triggers are also fine. Now since we have to animate the scroll viewer scroll on right and left button click, the default scroll viewer does not allow storyboard animation. So we will extend and use dependency property with the storyboard to create our smooth scroll viewer. Okay, if you might be thinking what actually is dependency property, the answer is simple. You basically attach a new property to an existing object without actually modifying the object definition. So we will add a custom class in C control folder and we will call it custom scroll viewer. Then let's inherit the scroll viewer properties etc. in our class. After that, let's add a dependency property. First, rename the property name to myOffset, then add system.windows reference for dependency property. Then get value as scrollviewer.horizontal_offset property, and then set the dependency property type of to custom scroll viewer, and assign new property changed callback in metadata with method name onChanged. Now we will create method name onChanged. Here the new value will be updated to myOffset property of our custom scroll viewer. To get early access to my videos and source code, join me on Patreon now. Link is in the description. So let's change the set value to scroll to horizontal offset value. Now let's switch to our main window designer and replace the scroll viewer to custom scroll viewer, and also change name to scroll viewer. Okay, back to logics. We will first complete the right button, then move to left one. So what should happen first? When the user clicks the right navigation button, the button should get disabled. If we leave it enabled and if user double clicks the button, this might lead to the miscalculation of our offset value of double animation, as you can see on the screen. So to avoid that, we disabled it. Now let's move forward and set the menu expanded to false, and set the visibility of left navigation button to visible. Okay, now we will get the value of scroll viewer's current horizontal offset in a variable name offset of type double. After that, let's set the double animation name go right. So the first value is from, second value is to, which is current offset plus width of our card and margin between cards. So whenever the navigation button is clicked, the scroll viewer will be scrolled to the previous or next card. And the final value is the duration of animation, so we will set to the half second. Also we will define acceleration and deceleration ratios for smooth experience. Now let's add completed event for go right animation, which we will use to enable the right button, and we will also check if the scroll viewer has reached the end or not. So if the scroll viewer's current offset and the last scroll viewer width is equal, then we will hide our right button. Now back to our button click event, we will add the begin animation for scroll viewer and provide the dependency property required, then the animation to perform. So let's run the program and check our code. If you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. So the right navigation button is working as expected. Now we can proceed to left button event. Now let's copy the code from button click event of right button and paste it in the left button click event. Now in this event block, make the following changes. Disable left navigation button and remove menu expanded line. Set the visibility for right button, and inside double animation replace plus with minus sign. Then rename go right to go left and create new completed event for go left. Let's copy and paste the code from right button completed event. Now replace right button with left navigation buttons. After that, in the condition statement, replace the right condition with 0, since we want to check if the scroll bar is on left end. Also replace go right to go left in begin animation. Now let's run the program and see if the left button is working as expected or not. So yes, both buttons are working perfectly as we want them to. I noticed a minor issue with the tab buttons on top right. The foreground is not applying on text block. So let's first check and fix that. With that done, we have completed all the designing etc. So only thing that remains now is loading all the elements only after the Rockstar logo has loaded completely. So for that, let's create a dependency property named resIsLoaded of type bool and make the needful changes. Now moving forward, first we will set the style for the main window. Since the first thing that will appear after loading is the window background, so we will set the default background first. To get early access to my videos and source code, join me on Patreon now. Link is in the description. Then with the help of data trigger binded to resIsLoaded, our program will check and apply the background image. Let's set the resIsLoaded to true on media ended event. After that, let's navigate to media element, place the same style as window style, change the target type to media element, and instead of background we will set default visibility here. And in trigger, collapse media element after loading completes. Do the same thing with left menu grid. Add a data trigger with binding to resIsLoaded and default visibility value is collapsed, and set visibility to visible after resIsLoaded. Same goes for the content grid. Copy and paste media element style and change media element to grid and visible to collapsed and vice versa. And the last one, that is uniform grid containing tab buttons. Paste the style and rename grid to uniform grid, and also make changes to visibility property as before. Now let's run the application. Guys, if you have reached this far and haven't subscribed yet, then please subscribe and press the bell icon for notification. You can also join me on Patreon to get early access to my videos and also get all the source codes. I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you for watching. Do like, subscribe and share.